Joe, a big weekend for the Toronto Blue Jays, to say the least. Another sweep, back-to-back sweeps, this one of the Oakland Athletics, and it's not so much simply the fact that they swept the Athletics. It's the way they did it. Pick your poison. Which home runs, great base running, good defense, good starting pitching. I'm hesitant to use the word great, and dependable bullpen work. I mean, you have to be a glass 3/4 empty guy to look at that and say, well, I have some issues with the way that went.
No, you know what? Coming off that sweep at Fenway Park, the Blue Jays are feeling pretty good about themselves as well. They should have been, because they've been playing some great baseball. But to come in for a weekend to play the Oakland A's, who at the time is the top team in the American League, and what a challenge that was with their pitching, of course. They're tops in the league in scoring runs. They pretty much do it all. And they just, I don't want to say the Blue Jays dominated them all weekend, but that's a pretty good weekend of baseball. And they are just playing a brand of baseball right now, the Blue Jays are, that you just ride this wave. It's hard to do this, of course, for an entire season, but they're doing it with power. They're doing it with speed. They're stealing bases. They're going first to third. They're pitching. They're playing defense. And when you're firing on all cylinders like that, that's what winning streaks are made of, and they're just playing superb right now. You know,
we spoke on Primetime Sports before on Friday on the roundtable, and we were talking about what the Jays might have expected out of this series, because again, Oakland is setting the pace in Major League Baseball. They're widely considered to be the best team in baseball, or were, and I said, look, I think looking at the pitching matchups, realistically, if you're Toronto, you'll take one of three, maybe hope for one of three. Now, I completely underestimated what Liam Hendricks could do, and I completely underestimated what Happ did. Talk to me a little bit about why those two pitchers in particular were able to handle what was a really good lineup, and a tough lineup to pitch to, because they can beat you anyway. They've got platoon advantages all over the place. It's a tough lineup to pitch to, yet Liam Hendricks and Happ, I guess we'd say the two weakest links in the rotation, both had, in the case of Happ, close to a dominating performance.
Well, and Liam Hendricks came up as that filler. He's being brought into this rotation, and if you're John Gibbons, you're just hoping that he can give you a good game. Go 5 or 6 innings, hold down the fort, keep your team in the game against the top team in baseball. Well, he did that and more to take it into the 6th inning. Would he have liked to have gone longer? Absolutely, but I think it was time to go. You could see the A's were just missing some balls, but he was very aggressive with his fastball, and I spoke with him the next day. That's the way he pitches, and with Eric Kratz behind the plate, who he had some familiarity with, he had him in Buffalo, they knew their game plan, and when they go over hitters, that Eric Kratz will do that. He's going to come inside. I love the way he calls a game, and Liam Hendricks was aggressive with that. He gave up the home run to Moss on a changeup, ironically. He just felt he had to change it up, but that's how he pitched to keep his team in the game. And when you can keep hitters like that off balance for into the 6th inning, that was mission accomplished, and then handed over to the bullpen, and they did their job. And, of course, if you leave things to the Blue Jays lineup, they will find a way to scratch out runs, which they did against a very good pitcher. And then with Happ yesterday, to me, that was the most impressive, because he's been good and he's been not so great. But what he did yesterday was beyond impressive, because he has got a good fastball. And I think his fastball has to be very underrated. He touched 95 yesterday, and it looked 95. And that ball's got some giddy up, and you can tell by the swings. I don't go by the radar gun all the time. I go by the radar gun, what we see, but also the swings.
Sounds like a former catcher to me.
Oh, he was blowing balls by people. Yeah. Those hitters were late, and that tells me that ball's got a little extra gear on it, and as it approaches the plate, it's by people. But he, again, pitched very aggressively. I credit Kratz again behind the dish for his game calling. He was very aggressive. He shut down Moss yesterday by pitching him hard in. And what do you do to big power guys? Most people think they like the ball in because they're going to pull it and hit it out of the ballpark. No, they like the ball out over the plate. And with Jay's giddy up on his fastball, he was able to tie him up all day.